And we are live for week 17. We got the Dallas Cowboys traveling to play the Tennessee Titans in what is going to be a gross game. We got someone already in the comments. We're putting 2.3 million that the Cowboys win this one. Just to guess, the Cowboys are 14-point favorites in this game. The entire Tennessee Titans defense is not playing. Ryan Tannehill is not playing. Derrick Henry is not playing. Tony Pollard is not playing in this game. The Cowboys win. It does help them in the playoff race. I'll pull up some of the playoff scenarios here. Very important in week 17 to understand which teams have something to play for and which teams do not. With a win tonight, the Cowboys will stay alive to win their division. It's still not likely that they win the division. They honestly don't have very much to play for. They're already in the playoffs. They can get a slightly better seed, maybe some home field advantage, but they're already in. The Titans are in a weird situation where the Tennessee Titans have nothing to play for in week 17, but everything to play for in week 18 against the Jaguars. So even more reason for them to be benching all of their players. Malik Willis, though, he's not being benched for week 18. He's just being straight up benched. And he's being benched for Joshua Dobbs, a very bad sign for Malik Willis. We really might not see him again or for a very long time. He's had a rough season. He started a couple games. He's played in now 4 games. He played in and threw more than 10 passes. He had 3 games where he threw more than 10 passes in. All 3 of those games under 12.5 fantasy points. All 3 of those games under 60% completion percentage. Tough season for Malik Willis. Guys, we're live on TikTok. We're live on YouTube. It is the fantasy football finals. Why is this stuff always backwards? So thank you for letting me know. I gotta let me fix this here. The ever since I got my new phone, here we go, mirror video. There you go. It's not backwards. It's not backwards anymore. Singletary or Jeff Wilson. Start Haskins. Yeah, so I think he's a fringe start. I think Haskins is a fringe start tonight. I don't think he's necessarily safe, but he should get at least 15 touches in this game. It's going to be Hassan Haskins for the Tennessee Titans. There's no Derrick Henry in this game. I believe they elevated one more running back. But Dontrell Hilliard's been on IR. He was the backup to Derrick Henry for most of the season. He had some good receiving days, if you can remember earlier in the season. But in this game, it's going to be Julius Chestnut is the direct backup to Hassan Haskins. Neither of these guys are household names. Julius Chestnut, 22 years old, undrafted rookie. He's not very fast. He didn't catch very many passes in college. Meanwhile, Hassan Haskins, he's also a rookie, but he was picked in the 4th round this year. I think Haskins is going to be seeing 15-plus touches in this game, and they're 14-point underdogs. I think he's going to catch some passes. I'd consider him much more in PPR format, though. I'm not gonna force Haskins. I wouldn't force Haskins tonight. No Pollard. Pollard is out tonight. Yes, start Dallas defense for sure. They're in the must-start category tonight. Which Packers running back would you go with this week? It feels like you kind of have to be riding A.J. Dillon at this point. Aaron Jones not 100% healthy, clearly. Alouettes, Sam, Zach. The Alouettes, you got to give it a rest, Zach. They're not good. We got a Canadian football fan here. You got to find a new football team if you're rooting for the Alouettes. How about the Cowboys tonight, Zach? Hey, Sam, what's the deal with Derrick Henry? The deal with Derrick Henry is he's not playing tonight. Excuse me. Oh, it's Derrick. No, I'm just kidding. No, Derrick Henry's not playing tonight. And the reason is the Titans have nothing to play for tonight. A win or a loss tonight for the Titans, it does not influence their playoff odds at all. But next week is big for the Titans. So Derrick Henry will be back next week. Not that is going to matter much in most fantasy leagues. So, I mean, tough. It's a tough deal. If you have Derrick Henry in fantasy, you got to find another option. And Haskins, who's going to be the lead back for the Titans tonight, he's one of those options. I think he's a pretty sketchy option. We have him projected for around 10 points. We'll get to all the start sits I can get to in this live. By the way, everyone in this live that's got start sits, man, shout out to you for being in the finals. I got a few finals matchups myself. This week I have two best ball teams remaining. I drafted over 500 best ball teams this offseason. Now I have 2 left, and one of those has Zeke tonight. And Zeke's looking pretty good as a top 10 option in fantasy. Week 17, here he is. He's played in almost every single game this season. He's missed a few games, but he's been involved, and he scored 7 straight games with a touchdown for Zeke. I mean, he's really tearing it up down the stretch, and he has a good chance to be a league winner this week. It's been 8 straight games. He has 10 touchdowns in his last 8 games. That's Ezekiel Elliott. He does not have a game under 13 points, but Zeke does not have a single game this season over 20 fantasy points. He's been between 13 and 18 points basically every single week. I think this could be the week where he has his first week over 20 points this fantasy season. But yeah, that's the deal with Derrick Henry. He's sitting because this game doesn't matter for the Titans. That's also why the entire Tennessee Titans defense is sitting. Guys, Tony Pollard is out tonight. Pollard is out. That's why he's not on this list. I probably should have put that somewhere on the TikTok background. But yeah, Tony Pollard out tonight. The whole Titans defense out tonight. Ryan Tannehill, Malik Willis, both not playing tonight. Tony Pollard also out. Sam, pick 2 running backs: Jacobs, Dillon, Algier, Juju Pittman. So Algier is looking very alive right now. His over-under is actually like 75. 75 rushing yards is his over-under this week. I mean, he's looking like a really good running back in a good situation. I think I would probably play Algier over A.J. Dillon. Let me pull up the matchups here really quickly. Yeah, the Falcons get the Cardinals, man. It's a really, really good spot for Algier. I don't think I'd bench him. I don't think you can bench him. The Packers, meanwhile, they're up against the Vikings. Not a horrible spot for A.J. Dillon, but I think I like Algier's spot better. I think I'd go Jacobs and Tyler Algier. And then Juju or Pittman. Nick Foles starting again. I feel like you kind of have to go Juju over Pittman at this point. Schultz or Muth. Yes, let me pull up the tight end rankings here, but I really do think Schultz is in must-start territory for basically all tight end decisions. We have him projected as right around tight end 10, but still ahead of Muth. So yeah, I'm still playing him over Muth. I like Schultz more than Muth this week. I think Schultz is a top 5 option. I disagree a little bit with the ranking there in the WalterPicks app. What you think about Gallup or Robinson? Yeah, I know. Let me pull up the numbers here for Gallup. I don't think Robinson can be trusted. I'm assuming you mean Demarcus Robinson there too. Gallup is coming off a 7-target game. He scored a touchdown. He was guarded mostly by Darius Slay in that game too, but he doesn't have a single game this season over 65 yards. He's a touchdown dependent receiver, and that's not really what you're looking for in fantasy. But he did play over 80% of the snaps back-to-back games now, and he is coming off a 7-target game. So yeah, I think I'd probably go Gallup tonight over Demarcus Robinson. Dalton Schultz or Dallas Goedert, Happy New Year's. Happy New Year's to you as well, Devin. Guess what? I got a new math hat for Christmas as well. So I'm feeling excited. I'm thinking I might go just like the whole color, the whole rainbow of colors for the math hats over time. But yeah, I think I'm going Dallas Goedert over Dalton Schultz. Goedert immediately back to a full workload coming off the injury. He's been, a really elite tight end when he's been playing. He played 91% of the snaps last week, 33 routes. It was actually the most routes he's ran in a game this season was last week. Whether it's Gardner Minshew, whether it's Jalen Hurts, I think you're going to want to be playing Dallas Goedert this week. So yeah, I think I'd go Goedert over Schultz. Finals time, baby. Start Rachaad White, Zach Moss, or Latavius Murray. I'm starting to panic a little bit about Rachaad White. It seems like Leonard Fournette, as the season's going on, they're starting to get playoff Lenny cooking a little bit. And they're going to need playoff Lenny when they make the playoffs. Leonard Fournette played 60% of the snaps last week. He saw the bulk of the touches. He had 20 carries, 10 targets. Super elite usage for Leonard Fournette, who's dealing with a foot injury of his own. But yeah, I think Rachaad White can't be trusted. I would trust both these guys, I think, over Rachaad White. Let's pull up the numbers for Zach Moss really quickly here as well. Yeah, I think I would go Zach Moss. He played 72% of the snaps. He only had 12 carries, 1 target, 70 yards. Not great, but he was out there basically every snap. I think I would lean Zach Moss over Latavius Murray. I know Latavius Murray had a huge week a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, he only played 47% of the snaps last week. 8 carries, 1 catch as well. So yeah, I think I would go Zach Moss there. I trust him the most out of those 3 guys. Any props you like tonight? Yeah, so there's a prop I like tonight. I'm trying not to get too carried away with how much I'm putting on this prop because it feels a little too good to be true where they're setting this line at. So Malik Davis is the prop that I like tonight the most, over 31.5 rushing yards. And this is a weird game from a fantasy standpoint and from a prop standpoint because the Cowboys are 14-point favorites. The Titans are sitting their entire team. This game could be over in the first half. It very realistically could be over in the first half. And that might be good for a guy like Malik Davis. But even if the game ends up being closer than people expect, I think Malik Davis is going to get a minimum of 5 carries in this game, but he could easily get close to 10, 15 carries in this game. He averages 4.5 yards per carry this season, and Tony Pollard is out. And they're not going to give Zeke like a 90% snap share in a game that doesn't really impact the Cowboys' playoff odds at all. The Cowboys are already in the playoffs. They're already in. And they're going to want Zeke healthy in the playoffs. So I think Zeke plays more tonight because Tony Pollard's out, but I don't think it's going to be like every single snap. I think they're going to keep him fresh, similar to what they've been doing with Pollard. I think Malik Davis is going to get maybe a third of the backfield touches tonight. And then again, there's this scenario in this game where the game is just over so early on that Malik Davis, all of a sudden, maybe he does get 60% of this backfield because he's playing the whole second half and Zeke is resting on the sidelines. So yeah, I like the Malik Davis prop the most, over 31.5 rushing yards. It feels a little too good to be true, but I think the floor here is like 20 yards. And I think the ceiling is pretty high in some of these cases in this game when the game gets out of control very early. Again, there's a 14-point spread in this game, and I think I would take the 14 points with the Cowboys too. And that's a pretty big spread in the NFL, but they're starting Joshua Dobbs, and they're also benching their whole defense. The whole defense is benched, and this defense hasn't been great this season. They've been okay against the run, really bad against the pass, but now their whole practice squad essentially is the defense you're going to see tonight for the Titans. So another reason that I like this Malik Davis prop, I mean, he could do this in just a few carries, but again, I think he has 10 plus carries well within his range of outcomes tonight with Tony Pollard out and just the game situation. I'm shorthanded in the ship without Lamar and Derrick Henry. Yeah, you're not alone, man. This is a crazy fantasy football playoffs this year. Who do I start? Zeke, Dobbins, Dylan, Algier. It's Zeke. I think it's Zeke, then Algier. I know Akers is like becoming this league winning running back too. But without Pollard, I think you got to go Zeke. The floor is so high for Zeke as long as he's playing. And again, this game doesn't get out of control, which I think is possible. Zeke is going to get 15 plus carries. He's had at least 15 carries now in 7 straight games. He scored a touchdown in 8 straight games. Like the floor is just too high. Again, we haven't seen Zeke go over 20 points a single time this whole season. But I think tonight could be the night as long as this game doesn't get out of hand really, really quickly. Also, Sutton or Terry. Yeah, so Carson Wentz is back. Wentz was not targeting Terry McLaurin as much as Heineke has been this season. I think I might be okay going with Sutton here. Yeah, Sutton had 64 yards. Sutton and Judy somehow still had good games despite Russ completely imploding again. But yeah, I think I'm okay going Sutton over Terry McLaurin this week. But I do think that Terry and the Commanders, they probably have a lot more to play for. Let me pull up the matchups here really quickly. I might take this one back. Nah, yeah, I'm taking this one back. You got to go McLaurin. You got to play McLaurin over Sutton. Yeah, I'd go McLaurin over Sutton. That team at least has something to play for. I do worry about Carson Wentz, though, for sure. Bench Pollard. Yeah, bench Pollard. He's not playing tonight. He's just straight up out. So easy decision. Risk Hurts or go with Dak. Oh, man, that's actually a pretty tough one. I saw that he practiced today. I do kind of feel like Jalen Hurts is going to play. That's my current lean right now. So I think I probably would hold out hope for Jalen Hurts. And then it's not like if he doesn't go, you won't have any options. It's not like Dak Prescott's such an elite option tonight that you have to start him. I think he's closer to like the back end of the top 10 in QBs this week rather than like the top 5. And Jalen Hurts is a top 3 option if he plays. So I think I'd probably go Jalen Hurts. With Tua going down, I'm reaching. Yeah, the Tua stuff, man, it's just so brutal for Tua. And he's playing so well. You know, all of his interceptions came after the concussion. You got to feel bad for Tua. But yeah, for fantasy, you got to make other plans. Mike White, Gardner Minshew, Carson Wentz, Daniel Jones, Teddy Bridgewater. Yeah, so you can't trust Gardner Minshew this week because there's a real chance Jalen Hurts plays this week. Mike White is an interesting one. Must-win game for the New York Jets to stay in the playoff hunt. We've seen Mike White throw the ball a ton this season. He's playing the Seahawks, not a horrible matchup. They've been really bad against the run, though, and much better in the secondary this season. I honestly think Daniel Jones is the answer here. And we rode Daniel Jones. The DraftKings lineup did very well last week with the Daniel Jones, Isaiah Hodgins stack that we had going. And we have him ranked as a top 10 option again this week. The Colts defense has been okay at times this season, but Daniel Jones is running enough that I think he's a pretty decent option off the waiver wire. Isaiah Hodgins or Tyler Lockett in the flex. I'd go Lockett over Hodgins in the flex. I'm seeing that one on the YouTube live. Malik Davis. Yeah, Malik Davis he's not a start in fantasy, but I actually like his prop tonight, over 31.5 rushing yards. I think he's a really, really deep sleeper maybe in fantasy if you want to go there, but I think you can find better options. I would play Haskins over him in fantasy for sure. Championship week needs you to pick 3: Lenny Fournette, Zeke, Eckler, Kenneth. Yeah, not a Thursday night question, Devin, but I still got you because it's the championship week. I'm going to get to as many starts tonight as I can. And I get sad around this time of year because the fantasy season is ending. But I also get very excited in week 17 to see all of you out here in your championships, man. This is why I do this. Seriously, like we are here. This is what it is about this week and winning this week. Okay, Lenny Fournette, Zeke, Eckler, Kenneth. Yeah, so Eckler's dealing with an injury as well. Let me pull up the latest on him before I get to this one. I think you've got to be starting Leonard Fournette. By the way, again, we were just reading those numbers. 20 carries, 10 targets last week. I mean, 30 opportunities is a lot. And 10 targets is just not something you're seeing out of most running backs. I think you've got to be starting Fournette. I know Eckler picked up a knee injury, I think late. Yeah, knee. He was limited in practice. Doesn't seem like it's going to be an issue. Yeah, you got to start Eckler as well. So yeah, it's Eckler. I think it's these first three. I kind of think it's these first three over Kenneth. And I know Kenneth had a really big week too. But without Pollard, I really feel like Zeke's a must start tonight over Kenneth. The Jets' run defense is a little underrated as well. Kenneth Walker's probably going to get close to 20 touches again. But yeah, I think I'd go Zeke, Eckler, Fournette. I think I'd play these first three. All three really good options. I'm playing Pacheco over Haskins for sure. Pacheco's prop line's really high this week too. Around 70 rushing yards is Pacheco's line. Geno or Wentz. I think I'd play Geno over Wentz. Geno revenge game against the Jets. Revenge game against the Jets for all the marbles in fantasy. I'm okay rocking with Geno this week. Lost Henry. Should I start Isaiah? Yeah, I would go lock it over Hodgins, Caleb. I'd go lock it over Hodgins. We are live on TikTok, guys. We are live on YouTube. As always, guys, I'm going to be live Sunday morning, all Sunday morning, leading up to the kickoff of the last week for most fantasy leagues. What about Maher? Yeah, you can start Maher. Is the Kamara does anything? I don't know. That's a confusing question, Russell, in the TikTok live. You got to spell a little bit better than that for me. But yeah, I'm playing Josh Jacobs over Pacheco still. And I know Derek Carr is being benched for Jarrett Stidham, but Josh Jacobs is still probably going to get 20 plus touches in that game. I think you got to be starting Jacobs, assuming he plays, assuming they don't bench him as well. And I think he will play. Dak or Burrow, I'm going against Jamar Chase, by the way. Yeah, Jake, I think regardless of who you're going against, it's Burrow. I mean, Burrow's the better option. Burrow's been extremely consistent this season. I think he's a top five option. I'd got closer to the back end of the top 10. So yeah, I certainly be playing Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow has gone over 25 points in 3 of his last 4 games. I mean, he's been a top 10 quarterback at a really, really high rate in almost all of his weeks. He's been top 10. Was this like 5 out of his last 7? He doesn't have a week outside of the top 15 since week 8 at quarterback. The floor is really high. The ceiling's really high for Joe Burrow. Hey, Sam, love the app. Thanks, Hudson. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, guys, the best way you could possibly support me is just going and checking out the WalterPicks app. It's free to download in the iOS and Android app stores. You can find the link to that in the YouTube description, in the TikTok bio. It's going to help you with all your start-sit decisions, all your trade decisions next season, all your draft decisions next season, all your player prop decisions and daily fantasy decisions. It's going to help you make better decisions. So yeah, check out the WalterPicks app. It's totally free to download. And it is the best way you could possibly support me. All right. So thanks for shouting that out, Hudson. Pick 2 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 1 flex, half PPR. All right. We got 2 receivers first. Ayuk, London, Thielen, Cooks, Chark, Hodgins. Yeah, Drake London's starting to cook a little bit. He kind of is. I mean, the target share has been really high for Drake London. He's gone over 12 points in 3 straight games. He's seen at least 9 targets in all those games. Desmond Ridder really is looking for him a lot. I'm okay going with Drake London here. And then if Deebo Samuel sits, I think Ayuk is an interesting option as well. I think I like both of those guys more than the rest of the list. I think Hodgins is an interesting sleeper, but I don't think we can expect it week in, week out from Isaiah Hodgins like we've seen over the last few weeks. He is, I think, the most reliable Giants receiver. We were on the prop. He was the free player prop last week. He's gone over 15 points in 3 of his last 4 games now. And this week, he gets the Colts. Not a great matchup for him against the Colts. I think that could be one of the lower scoring games to see. I think I'd go with the receivers. I think I'd go with these first 2 receivers. Then 2 running backs. We got Cordero Patterson, Haskins, Jeff Wilson, Deontay Foreman. Yes, it's pretty disgusting here, Hudson. I think I'd go Haskins and maybe Jeff Wilson. Or I don't really trust Cordero Patterson. Foreman's like, coming off this monster, ridiculous game against what was a really good Lions run defense prior to this week. He had 21 carries. The problem with Deontay Foreman is, they fall behind and he's just totally phased out of the offense because he's not the pass catching back. Jeff Wilson, I think, led the Dolphins backfield. Let me see. I think it was actually close to 50-50. He's 61% of the snaps, but only 9 carries, only 2 targets for him. It is a good matchup for Cordarrelle Patterson against the Cardinals. I fear Cordarrelle Patterson just because we saw this last season where he had really good moments throughout the beginning of the season, and he just sort of slows down as the season goes on. Tyler Algier is the lead back for the Falcons now, but it's a really good matchup against the crumbling Arizona Cardinals. I think I'd probably go Cordarrelle Patterson, Haskins here. Foreman is a slightly riskier play. 0.25 points per carry actually changes things a decent amount. Did not see that at the beginning. I think I'd go Foreman. In that case, his ceiling's even higher. And then you got to play a flex. Honestly, with that points per carry, you should probably play running back in the flex. I'd probably go Patterson in the flex, start Haskins, start Foreman. All right, let's get back to some of these. Should I sit Chubb for Algier and McKinnon? I don't think I'd sit him for McKinnon. Algier, I like more than McKinnon. I know McKinnon, he scored again, right? He scored again. 12.8 points, though, last week. He only had 5 carries. He only had 3 catches. He only had 8 touches. You're not benching Nick Chubb for someone that had 8 touches last week. I know he's on an absolute tear right now. But, yeah, I would bench Chubb, I think, for Algier. I'm starting Algier this week, no matter what. Yo, Sam, choose 2 full PPR, Zeke, Waddle, Swift, Alvin Kamara, McKinnon. Also play injured Hurts, Goff, or T-Law. Yeah, so if Hurts plays, you're starting Hurts. If he plays, you got to start him. But if he doesn't play, I think I like Goff at home, honestly, a lot this week. And the Jaguars are a little sketchy this week, too. They're playing the Texans, but they have nothing to play for. Nothing to play for. It's all about next week, similar to the Titans tonight. The coach there did say that he thinks every game's important and they're going to play. But that's just coach speak, man. We see coaches lie all the time with this stuff. So, yeah, I think you gotta go Goff in the case that Hurts doesn't play. And then with the other players here too, full PPR, I'm going Zeke and I'm going Alvin Kamara. I'm going Zeke and Kamara over Waddle, over Swift, over McKinnon. Sam, my guy, thanks to Walter. I made it to the championship, Matt. That's what I love to hear, man. This is the best week of the year because I get to hear stories like this, man. Who do I start? A QBR. Here we go. Dak, Purdy, or White. Yeah, I'm going Dak. I have Zeke and CD as well. Oh God, that is a little overweight on the Cowboys. I know there are a lot of Cowboys teams in the fantasy football championship tonight. It actually makes me want to sort of diversify off the Cowboys a little bit for you. But this game might end up being bad for fantasy for the Cowboys if this game is over in the first half. Again, they're 10-point favorites, and the Titans are sitting their whole defense, their whole offense, basically. It could make a lot of sense for the Cowboys to sit a lot of these guys in the second half. This game doesn't really have any implications for the Cowboys. They have a chance at the division. They want to win the division, but even if they win their last 2 games, they're not going to win the division. They're probably not going to win the division. And maybe it could help their home field advantage a little bit. So you have that going for you. I want to see, let me pull up the 49ers here and see where we have Brock Purdy actually 1 spot behind Dak Prescott in the rankings this week. He gets a good matchup against the Raiders. I still want to be saying Dak though. The Titans secondary has been bad. And they're all not playing too. So yeah, I think I would go Dak personally, but it's close between him and Purdy. I would not play Mike White. Pick one: Pacheco, Algier, Akers, championship. It's Algier. It's got to be Tyler Algier against the Cardinals. It's too good of a spot. You got the rookies, guys. This is the time of year where they're going to get the most touches they've gotten all season. Tyler Algier has been very efficient this year. He played a career high, season high, 62% of the snaps last week. He actually played more than that in week 7, but it's the most he's played, second most he's played all season. And he saw a career high, season high 18 carries and a career high, season high 5 targets. He's setting career and season highs all across the board here for Tyler Algier. Now he gets a prime matchup against the Cardinals, man. He's going to win leagues. I'm not benching him. I'm not benching him this week. I think he has to be started. He's going to be in my video about who you got to start this week on TikTok. I hope you had a great Christmas, Sam, if you celebrated. Thanks. I did. I got this hat, a new math hat. If you didn't notice, a little cleaner. I think I'm going to get like the whole color spectrum as time goes on. Thanks to you, I'm in the championship. That's what I like to hear, man. Anyways, who is RB2 in full PPR with Pollard out? B-Rob, Moss, Haskins, or Jeff? It's got to be B-Rob, man. Got to be B-Rob. Antonio Gibson's a little banged up. Similar to Tyler Algier, not quite as much. I don't like Brian Robinson quite as much as I do Tyler Algier this week, but Brian Robinson starting to really take hold of this backfield. He played 43% of the snaps last week. That's the most most snaps he's played in the last month. He had 22 carries in that game, and it was a tough matchup against the 49ers, but they get a much, much better matchup, I believe, this week. And yeah, they do. They get the Browns, and the Browns' run defense has been abysmal this season, and he could get 20-plus carries. None of these other guys, I don't think, have a chance at 20-plus carries this week. Haskins is interesting. I think he's a little sketchy, though. A little sketchy tonight on an offense that might not be able to move the ball at all. So yeah, I'm going with Brian Robinson pretty easily with that one. Championship question here from Xavier in the YouTube live. We're live on TikTok and YouTube, by the way. We'll get to as many comments as I can, But I'm telling you guys, if I can't get your comment, the best place to go is the WalterPicks app in the iOS and Android app store. It's free to download, and you're going to be able to do as many start-sit comparisons as you want for completely free. You're going to get projected points, boom and bust probabilities, matchup ratings, and again, it's free to try out and to do start-sit comparisons. And I might not be able to get to all the comments. I almost definitely can't get to all of the comments. I'm playing Algier over ETN. I'm playing Algier 100. Find a spot for Algier, guys. Find a spot for him. ETN's a good spot against the Texans, but the Jaguars also have nothing to play for. There's so much incentive for the Jaguars in the second half to bench everybody. The Jaguars and Titans are in this really unique situation that I honestly can't remember a team being in recent history, where week 17 does not matter for their playoff odds, but week 18 does, because they play each other and they're competing for that same playoff spot. What's up, Sam? Championship question here. All right, we got Tay Adams, Mike Will, Pacheco, Algier, Kirk, London. Yeah, so you're starting Algier. We've been through this one, and then you got to start Devontae Adams. I know it's weird with Derek Carr being benched. Probably not good. It's not good for Devontae Adams, but he's been struggling of late too. But yeah, you got to be starting Devontae Adams in your championship. I mean, there's no way around it. If he's playing, you got to start Devontae Adams. If Jalen Hurts is playing, you got to start Jalen Hurts. These guys are too good. They got you here. You got to start them. But I'm playing Algier over Mike Williams. I'm playing Algier over Pacheco. Algier over Christian Kirk, over Drake London. Like all those guys, honestly, kind of easily. Again, a really good spot for him against the Cardinals. He set a career high, season high in targets, in carries last week. That trend could continue. And then Purdy, Russ, Rodgers, or Mike White. Yeah, I think it's Purdy or Rodgers. I'm not playing Russ. Absolutely not in the finals. Absolutely not to Mike White over these guys too. Purdy, we have ranked number 11 in the WalterPicks app this week. A pretty intriguing spot for him against the Raiders. Aaron Rodgers is in a must-win situation. I do like playing the guys in fantasy that like really need to win this week in real football. Like I don't like the potential risk of these guys getting benched in the second half, because these games do not matter for the playoffs at all in the real NFL. And yeah, the Packers get the Vikings this week. I mean, their secondary has been so terrible. I'd play Rodgers. I'm playing Rodgers over Purdy. We have him ranked number 8 in the WalterPicks app. I like that ranking there. I honestly think he could be a top 5 QB this week. I'm going with Rodgers. Go with Rodgers. The old Rodgers, Devontae Adams stack you got going in the finals here. All right, let's get back to some of these comments. Again, really quickly, let me just run through this game tonight, because this is the Thursday stream, guys. We got the Sunday stream coming up in a few days, and I'll be live basically right up till kickoff on Sunday, breaking everything down. I'm sure there'll be more news to go through at that point too. So I want to make sure I get to all the Thursday night questions. So really quickly, let me just go through the game tonight. It's going to be an ugly game. 14-point favorites. The Cowboys are 14-point favorites in this game. Titans are sitting their entire defense. They're sitting Derrick Henry. They're sitting Ryan Tannehill. They're benching. They're not sitting. They're benching Malik Willis, who's been really tough throwing the ball this season. They're starting Joshua Dobbs. 14-point favorites. And then Tony Pollard's also sitting. And that really does thrust Zeke into this must-start situation, even though this game doesn't really matter for the Cowboys. Zeke is going to play as long as this game is within a couple scores. So you're starting Zeke tonight. You're starting CeeDee Lamb. Obviously, you got to start him. You got to start Dalton Schultz. I think Cowboys defense, Brett Maher. Yeah, Maher. I'm seeing some comments about him in the TikTok. You got to start him too. Haskins over 8.5 receiving yards. I don't hate it. I do not hate that one. Don't hate that one. We've seen him do that, I believe, already. Let me pull up his numbers here really quickly. But yeah, I don't hate that at all. I don't think Joshua Dobbs is going to be able to do very much. he might have to just dump it down to Haskins. And I do think Haskins is going to get the bulk of the running back snaps. They got Chestnut backing him up, something Chestnut that nobody's ever heard of. He's an undrafted rookie this season. Both Haskins and Chestnut for the Titans tonight, the two running backs for the Titans tonight, both rookies. One of them undrafted. That's Chestnut. And Haskins was taken in the 4th round. He's been the more direct backup since the actual backup went down with an injury earlier this season. But yeah, Haskins over 8.5 receiving yards. You're praying for a couple catches. I don't love the running back receiving props just in general. I think Dak's a fringe start tonight. Don't think he's a must start. I have him like at the back end of the top 10. And then, you got to bench everybody else. Pollard is not playing tonight. Do we really like Lamb tonight? I'm tempted to start Judy over him. Yeah, I get the temptation and I get it. But yeah, I do really feel like you got to go CeeDee Lamb in basically all situations still. The only reason you should be concerned about CeeDee Lamb and Ezekiel Elliott and Dalton Schultz is if, Henry's not playing, no chance. He's not playing. He's already ruled out. I will talk about DraftKings Showdown a little bit here in a second. I will talk about Malik Davis in a second too. That's my final thought on this game. But the only fear, I guess, is a good segue into my Malik Davis thoughts tonight. But the only fear for starting these elite Cowboys fantasy options, CeeDee Lamb, Zeke, and Dalton Schultz, is that it's a 14-point spread. This game doesn't really have any importance for the Cowboys in the playoffs. Like maybe if they win their last 2 games, they get some sort of home field advantage, but they're not going to get the bye, and they're already in the playoffs. So the fear is that, they get a 20-point lead in the first half, and then they just bench their whole offense because this game doesn't matter. They shouldn't be risking these guys, for the playoffs. That's the fear. And that's part of the reason I like Malik Davis tonight. Why you don't see Tony Pollard on this list is because Tony Pollard is out tonight. He is not playing tonight. Someone asking what the weather is looking like. I will pull that up right now. I don't think any weather to be concerned about. Nope. Absolutely no weather to be concerned about. 55 degrees and no wind in Tennessee. This game is in Tennessee. Very little weather to be worried about actually this week at all across the board in the NFL. Much different than last week. But yeah, Malik Davis over 31.5 rushing yards. I kind of like that. Probably my favorite prop tonight is Malik Davis over 31.5 rushing yards because there's no Tony Pollard tonight. And we know there's this scenario where the Cowboys in the 4th quarter, they don't need Zeke out there. They're already winning by 3 scores. They're 14-point favorites in this game. And the Titans are also benching their whole defense. The Cowboys offense is going to move the ball super easily in this game. They're playing a practice squad defense, and they're playing a defense whose starters have struggled this season. That you can't expect the practice squad guys to do all that much. I think it's going to be a pretty run-heavy game from Zeke. I'm still starting CeeDee Lamb, though, because this secondary has also been atrocious this season, guys. Bottom 5 secondary this season. And again, their whole defense is being benched because this game has no implication for the Titans for the playoffs. It's all about next week. Haskins or Ayuk, I think I'd go Ayuk over Haskins. But I don't love Malik Davis in fantasy. I like his rushing prop over 31.5 rushing yards, but guys, he could crush that prop and still have a really bad fantasy game. Haskins or a backup RB whose RB1 could be hurt. Yeah, I think I'd go Haskins over Malik Davis in fantasy tonight as well. All right, let's get back to some of these comments. Those are my thoughts on the game. Overall, I do think the Cowboys, I would probably take them against the spread. But it's a lot of points, man. 14 is a lot, even against the whole practice squad team. Hey, Sam, please choose 2. Flex Myers, Brandon Cooks, Zay Jones, Malik Davis, or Hodgins. Yes, you're not playing Malik Davis here in this spot over any of these guys. And you're starting Jacoby Myers, absolutely. He's finally getting back to more health. Jacoby Myers is the clear top option for the path. I mean, he had a really fluky touchdown last week. That touchdown actually advanced one of my best ball teams because I had the Mac Jones Jacoby Myers stack, and I just barely advanced on one of my DraftKings teams with that touchdown from Jacoby Myers last week. But guys, Jacoby Myers played 100% of the snaps last week. He ran a season high 30 routes. It was actually the second most of his season. And the couple weeks prior to that, he was just coming back from the concussion. He hadn't played more than 60% of the snaps. I think Jacoby Myers is a solid start, especially in PPR formats. The Brandon Cooks versus Isaiah Hodgins versus Zay Jones is definitely close. I know Zay Jones coming off a little bit of a disappointing game after a really, really hot couple of weeks. Yeah, against the Jets. And that was a bad weather Thursday night game, though. And this week, though, doesn't really matter for the Jags at all. So I think honestly, I kind of want to say Hodgins. I kind of do want to say Hodgins here over Brandon Cooks, but I have a feeling Brandon Cooks probably projects better than Hodgins. Let me pull up the receiver rankings here. I would not play Zay Jones. Yeah, Cooks does project just a little bit better. I like Hodgins' floor a little bit more though. Sam, you didn't answer my question when you pulled it up. LOL. Oh, I'm sorry. Akers, Haskins, Foreman, Moss, Cordero Patterson. Yeah, I kind of feel you got to go Akers in this one. He's getting the ball so much. I mean, what a massive game for Cam Akers last week out of left field from Cam Akers. 23 carries, 147 total yards, 3 touchdowns. He now has 6 touchdowns in his last 4 games. He played 82% of the snaps. Cam Akers, I think, is pretty easily better than all these other options. And then I don't hate Cordero Patterson against the Cardinals this week. I do think he's startable in a good spot, but it's Tyler Allgeier's backfield, man. I think I would probably play Foreman, though, over Haskins. I think I'd play Moss over Haskins, too. I think Haskins is pretty sketchy. I think he's pretty sketchy. He is the lead back tonight. We got a question here. Glad this person tuned in. I don't know if I can – let me see if I can find this in the YouTube live. You can't start Derrick Henry tonight. He's not playing. You can't start Tony Pollard. He's not playing tonight either. Ryan Tannehill's not playing. The whole Titans defense is not playing. This is a weird game. The Titans, this game doesn't matter for the Titans. It kind of doesn't matter for the Cowboys either. But the Cowboys aren't benching their starters. They have a little bit of something to play for with some home field advantage, I think, on the line for the Cowboys. But they're already in the playoffs. This game isn't going to be like in and you make the playoffs out and you risk not making the playoffs for the Cowboys. They're already in. Malik Davis start tonight. So I don't think he's a must start tonight. No, I like, if you're going to go with Malik Davis, I think just take the rushing prop over an underdog. 31.5 rushing yards from Malik Davis. He could do this on 5 carries. I think he has 10 plus carries, well within his range of outcomes tonight in this game. 14-point favorites for the Cowboys. Titans resting their whole defense, so they're not going to be able to stop the run. And Tony Pollard's out. Like, Malik Davis is going to get a third of the backfield tonight. They're not going to play Zeke 100% of the snaps. Goddard or Schultz? Yeah, I'm going Goddard over Schultz. I'm playing Burrow over Dak. Seeing that one in the TikTok live. Think Debo will be back? Yeah, I saw some positive report. I thought about Debo. Let me pull this up before I answer whether or not I think Debo's going to be back. He practiced. He practiced today, man. People have been a little iffy about if he's going to play this week, but he did practice today. It sounds like he's on the wrong side still, though, of playing this week. So I'd say more likely than not, he is not going to play this week. But, I mean, very good sign that he practiced. Very good sign that Deebo Samuel practiced today. Hey, Sam, quick question. Should I start Dak or Trevor Lawrence? Yeah, so T-Law is up against the Texans this week in what, should be a good matchup. But I'm playing both guys. I mean, both Dak and Trevor Lawrence are in a similar situation where this week doesn't really matter very much for them. But I'd like Dak more than Trevor Lawrence, because Dak's playing in a defense that's just straight up practice squad players. Their secondary's already been bad this season. God, I think I would go Dak. If we knew Trevor Lawrence was going to play the whole game, yeah, Trevor Lawrence projects better too. I'm changing my answer here. I'm going Trevor Lawrence over Dak. It's a weird one. Trevor Lawrence and Dak are in weird spots this week. But yeah, I'm okay going Trevor Lawrence over Dak. The coach did say that they plan to play the Jaguars plan to play the whole game. Play their starters the whole game. But it's one thing to say that at a press conference. It's another thing to be sitting there in the second half, whether the game is close or not against the Texans. Like, why risk your starters in a game that has zero impact on you making the playoffs? That's the case for the Jaguars this week. So I'm a little nervous about that. But yeah, I think I would still go with T-Law. What's up, Sam? Unfortunately, it looks like my Titan season is over now. Pretty much half our team on IR, including Tannehill. Do you have a prop tonight that you like? Yeah, so I just had it up. And it's Malik Davis over 31.5 rushing yards. It's my favorite prop of the night. And for a lot of the reasons you just said, the whole defense isn't playing tonight. And the Cowboys are 14-point favorites, and Tony Pollard's out. You can find this prop on Underdog. I didn't see a line yet on PrizePicks. PrizePicks being a little scared, I think, to post this line for Malik Davis. We'll see. Let me see if they've come out with one yet. I didn't. I didn't see it when I looked earlier. And yeah, still no Oh, there is a Malik Davis prop, 31.5 rushing yards. So they did post it. And guys, we've seen Malik Davis clear this prop line at times this season already. And this is like the perfect game script for him. 14-point favorites, no Tony Pollard. Game that doesn't really matter for the Cowboys. There's no reason to risk Zeke at like 100% snap share tonight. So yeah, I like the Malik Davis rushing prop. Jacoby Myers, DPJ, or Juju. Yeah, I don't think it's DPJ here. It's Myers or Juju. Let me pull this up really quickly here as well. I have a feeling it's Juju, but I want to double check. Yeah, it's Jacoby. I think you go Jacoby over Juju Smith-Schuster. I mean, the Pats have a lot to play for in this game. I think it could be a low-key high-scoring game against the Dolphins too. Jacoby Myers' floor is pretty high. Obviously, he had that fluky touchdown last week. Juju has been on a little bit of a roll. I'll pull up the numbers here for Juju really quickly. But he's coming off a bad game last week. Only 4 targets, 3 catches in a game that just like it was sort of over before it started against the Seahawks. I'm going Jacoby Myers. I think the floor is higher for Jacoby than Juju. You as well, Kylo. Enjoy the game. Sorry that your Titans are sort of just laying down at the end of the season. It's tough. Rate my championship team, Adrian. I don't have the time to do it on a live, but we're actually working on a rate my team tool in the WalterPicks app. So download the WalterPicks app. It's going to be able to rate your championship team some point in the near future. Zeke or Kenneth Walker. God, I hate benching Kenneth. But I do like Zeke more than Kenneth. Yeah, I do. Zeke, again, he's gone 8 straight games with a touchdown. The floor is really high. The floor is high. I'm going Zeke over Kenneth. Hey, Sam, hope you're having a great day. You as well, Matt. Thanks, man. Who should I start at QB? Jared Goff or Joe Burrow? It's Burrow. I like Goff a lot this week. It's a good matchup for him. He's at home. He's played a lot better at home this season. But you can't be benching Burrow. The ceiling's too high for Joe Burrow. The floor is too high for Joe Burrow. All right, here's one where I might say no to Algier. I think I would play. We got to wait and see if Damon Harris is playing. But even if Damon Harris plays, like the target volume for Stevenson is just so elite. That you got to go Mondre. You got to go Mondre over Tyler Algier. All right, let me run through one more time really quickly my thoughts on this Thursday night game. I am going to be wrapping up the live relatively shortly here. I'm in Florida right now. I don't know if you can tell if you're on the YouTube live, if you're on the TikTok live, come to the YouTube live. A little bit better of a viewing experience, a little easier for me to pull up your comments on the YouTube live, but also you just get more info on the YouTube live, but also you get this great view behind me of Florida. Here, I'm visiting some family. I'm actually going to the Florida Panthers game tonight. So I'll be watching the football game on my phone while I'm there. Part of the reason I'm doing this live a little earlier today. All right. Let me run through my thoughts on this game really quickly. I'm not seeing a ton of Thursday night questions. Again, I'll be live all the way up till kickoff, from when I wake up to kickoff, essentially, Sunday morning. So I'm going to get to all these Sunday questions when we have more news, when we're closer to the kickoffs. Going to try to get to all those ones closer to kickoff on the Sunday games. But we got a Thursday game, and there's some big championship decisions tonight. Like, am I going to play Malik Davis, or I'm going to play Isaiah Pacheco? I mean, these two guys that I'm sure you planned on being in your championship starting roster before the season. But no, it's got to be Pacheco over Malik Davis. I'm assuming that's who you mean here. With Davis, there's a lot of Davises. There's Corey Davis. There's Malik Davis. I'm sure there's more Davises. But yeah, I'm going with Pacheco over Davis pretty easily. Malik Davis, though, I do like his prop. Haskins or Hodgins? Ooh, that one's pretty close, man. That one's pretty close. I think I'd go Hodgins over Haskins, but it's definitely a close one. And I would argue that Haskins has a better floor. Mark Andrews or Cole Kmet, not a Thursday night question, but yeah, it's got to be Mark Andrews. It's got to be Mark Andrews over Cole Kmet. I know that Kmet's like the only one sort of left standing from the Bears pass catchers, and Andrews has been struggling. I'm still going Andrews pretty easily over Kmet, though. All right, let me run through really quickly again my thoughts on the game tonight. So first of all, 14-point spread. The Cowboys are favored by 14. There's no Derrick Henry tonight. There's no Tony Pollard tonight. The entire Tennessee Titans defense is basically not playing tonight, and they already aren't a very good defense. Malik Davis over 24.5. Yeah, that's actually just straight cash. You're just straight cashing that. I'm taking that 31.5. That's what I'm seeing in that 31.5. Malik Davis is my favorite prop of the night. That's another tidbit for you in this game because Tony Pollard is out. And again, 14-point spread. We've already seen Malik Davis clear this line before him. In this game, really could be the biggest Yeah, I know Andrews has been struggling. This Malik Davis game really could be the best possible game script for him. 14-point favorites. This game doesn't really matter for the Cowboys very much. You definitely need to be starting the Cowboys defense over basically all defenses tonight. I would start them over the 49ers defense. And then Schultz or Waller. Yeah, with Derek Carr sitting, I'm okay going Schultz tonight over Darren Waller. And then Zeke or Stevenson. You got to go Stevenson over Zeke, even with Tony Pollard out. The targets for Mondre are just there's too many targets going Mondre's way to be benching Mondre. But I do like Zeke. I mean, the floor is high for Zeke. But guys, Ezekiel Elliott, as much as I like him tonight, and as much as he really is a must start in most spots, he doesn't have a single game this entire season over 20 fantasy points. Not a single one. Obviously, Tony Pollard played in all of those games. Like tonight might be the night he goes over 20. But the ceiling has been a little capped for Zeke this season. The floor has been really high, though. He's been over 13 points in 7 straight games. He's got at least 1 touchdown in 8 straight games. He's got 10 touchdowns the last 8 games, and he's going to score one tonight. But again, the ceiling is just a little capped. Can you please choose Haskins or Akers at running back? It's got to be Akers. Got to be Akers. If it is Akers, Haskins, Christian Watson, or Hodgins at flex. Yes, so we don't know Christian Watson's even playing yet. And that makes this decision pretty tough. I certainly would play Watson over all these guys if we knew he was playing. Let me see if there's any practice reports here. Excuse me. Let's see. Yeah, he didn't practice Thursday. You got to make other plans. Honestly, I'm okay throwing in Haskins there. Haskins versus Hodgins is a question I've seen a decent amount tonight. Dak or Hurts if healthy. I'm playing Hurts. Hold out hope for her. You got to hold out some hope for Jalen Hurts because he practiced today. And you definitely want Jalen Hurts over Dak if Jalen Hurts plays. And then even if Jalen Hurts doesn't play, like you're going to get something in there. It's not like it's an all or nothing type of situation with Jalen Hurts. Like there's going to be something off the waiver wire you can put in there. I don't think Dak is elite enough to justify benching Jalen Hurts. I think you got to hold out hope there. I think Haskins versus Hodgins, man, this is a tough one. I think I would lean Haskins personally because I think the floor is higher for him because he plays running back. He's going to get at least 10 carries in this game. He's going to get some targets. Chestnut is his backup, this undrafted rookie that nobody's ever really heard of. I don't think he's going to play like a ton. I think it's going to be Julius Chestnut, the backup. Excuse me. Woo. All right. Yeah, out of Sacred Heart, that's Julius Chestnut. I hear Chestnut, I think of Joey Chestnut, but that's a whole different Chestnut. And if it was Joey Chestnut, you got to be starting Joey Chestnut, but that's not who we're dealing with. Haskins is really a risky but high. I'd say like the floor isn't bad. Like I'd be pretty surprised if Haskins went under 5 points in this game. Would you play Driscoll over Muth? No, we're not playing Driscoll anymore, Brandon. That was a one-time thing. The second he scored under 2 points, he's straight back to the bench, straight back to the waiver wire with Jeff Driscoll. It'd be different if Jeff Driscoll was playing like 100% of the snaps, but playing like 25% of the snaps is just not enough. I'd rather chase him, by a mile over him. Thanks for answering my questions then. Hodgins, Sutton, or Pickens if Watson is out. Yeah, Pickens has been looking pretty good, man. All he needs is a couple deep catches, and he's getting the opportunity at these deep targets. Haley, I can't accept that right now. We're actually about to wrap up this live stream. Yeah, George Pickens is coming off. I know he scored the game-winning touchdown last week, but he's had over 50 yards now in 5 of his last 6 games. Like I think I'd go Pickens. I kind of like Pickens, and how he's looked recently. The Steelers are up against. Yeah, they get the Ravens this week. I kind of like going Pickens here over Sutton, over Hodgins. Do you see more than one Dak to Zeke TD connections? I got both in my starting lineup. More than one's, I think, asking a lot here, Adrian. But I could definitely see one. Hey, should I start Dak or Geno? Let me pull up here the QB rankings. I mean, you got Geno in the revenge game. You got the revenge game narrative for Geno Smith this week against the Jets. But the Jets defense has been good this season. I think I would go Dak. And this is a good matchup for Dak. Like even before the Titans decide to bench their entire defense, again, their whole defense is being benched tonight because this game doesn't matter for the Titans, but even before they were benched, I mean, this was a secondary to target. This was a bottom 5 secondary this season. So yeah, I do like the Cowboys passing attack in this game. And you got to start the Cowboys defense. Yeah, absolutely. Thoughts on Hopkins this week? I mean, dude, 10 targets for Hopkins and 4 yards. I needed 4 points out of Hopkins to advance to the finals in one of my leagues. If you can't tell, I'm pretty salty about that. But yeah, I mean, 10 targets for DeAndre Hopkins. You got to keep starting DeAndre Hopkins. And Colt McCoy being back is really big for Hopkins. McSorley just didn't have the accuracy. Hey, Sam, can you help me out? Njoku or Knox? And Ayuk or DJ Moore? Yeah, I would go DJ Moore over Ayuk. And then Njoku versus Knox, I think it's Njoku over Knox. Dak or Goff? I am into Goff this week. We have Jared Goff. Yeah, I think you go Goff over Dak. I'm okay going Goff over Dak. We actually have Goff really high in our rankings in the WalterPicks app this week, and there's reason for that. The Detroit Lions, they get a matchup against the Chicago Bears, but they're at home, and they played really well at home, guys. Jared Goff has had, I think, over 20 fantasy points per game at home this season, and the defense just allows so many points. I'm okay going with Goff over Dak. Dak or Hurts, I'm holding on hope for Jalen Hurts over Dak. I'm holding on hope for Jalen Hurts over everybody, really, that you'd be considering, other than, Mahomes and Josh Allen. Sit CD. No, I'm not sitting CD. The secondary has just not been good this season. It's not been a good secondary this season. James Cook or Hassan Haskins. Yeah, I'm going James Cook here. James Cook is starting to heat up a little bit. And I mean, we see this, it feels like more and more every year, but especially these last couple of years, these rookies, guys, they just start to heat up down the stretch. Like, they have so much more juice in their legs late in the season than the vets. And we're seeing it with Tyler Algier. We're seeing it with James Cook. He played 44% of the snaps last week. That was his second most of the season. He had 11 carries. He had 108 total yards, though. Like, he's earning more work in this offense. And yeah, I just trust, like, you're looking at, like, one of the best offenses in the NFL, maybe the best offense in the NFL, and then a Joshua Dobbs-led offense tonight that, like, really might not score points. So, yeah, I think I would go James Cook over Haskins. Foreman, Algier, you got to start Algier. Guys, you got to start Tyler Algier. There should be no sit questions with Algier. Start Tyler Algier. You have gold. That's the other rookie that I was just blanking on. James Cook's heating up. Tyler Algier, guys, is heating up. Like, you got to start this guy. He's looking fantastic. He's really efficient, and he is the clear lead back in this backfield. But on top of all of that, he gets a prime matchup against the Arizona Cardinals, who have been horrible defensively for the most part this season. I know J.J. Watt is, like, in prime form, with 2 games left in his career. But outside of that, the Cardinals are likely going to get rolled over. And Tyler Algier is going to get close to 20 carries in this game. He had 5 targets last week, too. I mean, really elite usage for Tyler Algier. I'm not benching him this week. Dak or Kirk. Yeah, I do. Let me pull up Kirk Cousins here. They're playing the Packers, right? Trevor Lawrence versus Dak was a question earlier, and I did say Trevor Lawrence over Dak. But I think I would play Dak over Kirk. Kirk against the Packers, Dak against the Titans tonight. Titans secondary, again, has been really bad this season. They're benching their whole defense. I don't hate Dak. Yeah, I'm playing Algier over Dylan. Eric, I'm doing it. Again, I don't think Dylan has the ceiling Algier has, and it's a good matchup for Algier against the Cardinals. And he could get 25 touches in this game, and he's been really efficient. Cordero Patterson, we know, starts to slow down towards the end of the season. Just the same thing happened last year. And Algier is trending up. He had a season high, career high carries last week, season high, career high targets last week. And I think he could, reset those highs this week against the Cardinals. It's very possible. So yeah, I do like Tyler Algier a decent amount this week. Will Sully. Hey, Sam. Will Sully, great to see you in the TikTok live, man. Hope you're doing well. Hey, Sam, pick 2. Deontay Johnson, Haskins, Rashad White, Brandon Cooks, Dobbs if Watson is out. Yeah, so I would definitely go with Deontay Johnson first and foremost. And then I think I would go Haskins over Brandon Cooks. Over Rashad White is a tough pill for me to swallow. Let me pull up the numbers for Rashad again. Fournette is absolutely starting to take this backfield back over from Rashad White. And yeah, he only had 7 carries last week, only 4 targets. He did score a touchdown. I think I would go Haskins over Rashad White too. I do. I think I would go Haskins over Rashad White. So yeah, I think it's Haskins over Rashad. Garrett Wilson or Pittman? God, I think I honestly would go Garrett Wilson over Pittman. Sam, not a Thursday Night Football question, but Cooper, Sutton, Rashad White, Mike Williams, Swift, or Juju. Yeah, I kind of feel like it's Mike. I kind of feel like it's Mike or Cooper. It's Mike or Cooper. The Browns are up against the Commanders this week. Yeah, honestly, I think it's a Mark Cooper. I think I'd go Mark Cooper over Mike Will. You're definitely starting Keenan Allen. I don't think Christian Watson's even going to play this week. He's definitely trending in the wrong direction. He hasn't practiced yet this week with a hip injury. All right, guys, let me wrap up my final thoughts on this game again one more time. Then we will be wrapping up the live again. I will be live all Sunday morning, YouTube and TikTok. I'll have my top 15 rankings, every position for you. And we're going to make sure we get these dubs in the fantasy championship, guys. You didn't come this far to only come this far. That's what it's all about. We got to win the championship. It's not enough just to make it. You got to win it. That's what it's all about. And then next year we go back to back, and then back to back to back. That is the mentality in your fantasy football championship. But yeah, you're starting Keenan Allen over Christian Watson here for sure. All right, let me run through my final thoughts in this game one last time. And the player prop, first of all, of the night, it's Malik Davis over 31.5 rushing yards. I do like that prop a decent amount. I've saw some people in the chat saying they saw the line at 24.5. I like that even more. What streamers would you start over Dak? I would start Jared Goff over Dak. I like Jared Goff the most as a streamer over Dak. So the Titans are sitting their whole defense. They're sitting Ryan Tannehill. They're sitting Derrick Henry. So it's Hassan Haskins and Chestnut tonight. I keep blanking on Chestnut's first name. I keep wanting is Julius Chestnut. But both these guys are rookies. 4th round rookies, Haskins and undrafted rookie and Julius Chestnut. These are the running backs for the Titans tonight. They're 14-point underdogs for a reason. Haskins is a fringe start, a sketchy but sort of sleeper start in fantasy. We haven't projected around 10 points. I think his floor is around 5 points. It's not terrible. But the Titans really might struggle to score points tonight because Joshua Dobbs, who's been on the team for 8 days, is starting. But it could be a pretty run-heavy game script, though, for the Titans. So I'm okay starting Haskins in a pinch. Zonovan Knight versus Haskins is close. After Zonovan Knight's negative yardage performance last week, I'm okay going Haskins. Yeah, so Tony Pollard's also benched tonight. He's out with injury. Is King Henry out for sure? Yep, he's out for sure. So King Henry's out. Tony Pollard's out. That's why I like the Malik Davis prop tonight because Zeke is going to get the bulk of the touches, but this game could get out of hand, and the Cowboys don't have that much to play for. They're already in the playoffs. They're almost definitely not going to win the division. There's still a slight glimmer of hope there. But yeah, I do think Micah Parsons is playing tonight. So yeah, you're starting CeeDee Lamb, you're starting Zeke, you're starting Dalton Schultz. This has been a bad secondary for the Titans all season, and now they're playing all their backups tonight. You're starting the Cowboys defense against Joshua Dobbs, who's been on the team for 8 days and has never started a game in the NFL in his career. We've seen him play before, and he's not very good. He is fast, so he will be running. Dak Prescott is an okay start. I like Jared Goff more than him, though. Schultz, people saying Schultz is not a must start. Yes, I really think he is in most situations. Like, depends what tight ends you're deciding over, but with the tight end landscape this season, he's a pretty easily a top 10 play. He's been under 10 points in 3 of his last 4 games. But Schultz does have an intriguing ceiling. He has been over 15 points 3 times this season. All of those weeks, those are top 5 tight end weeks. We've seen him be a top 5 tight end 4 different times this season. He's playing 85% of the snaps. And again, the Titans secondary hasn't been good. So I think he's maybe not a must start in all situations, but most spots you're starting Dalton Schultz as well. That's my time, guys. That's what I got for you tonight. It's going to be a gross Thursday night football game. Be careful with Haskins, but you could do worse than Haskins tonight. Again, 14-point underdogs, but there's no Derrick Henry, and they're starting Joshua Dobbs, so they might struggle to score points, but they're going to lean on the running backs, I think, pretty heavily. Let me get to this last Thursday night question here in the YouTube live. Derrick Henry out, pick 3 PPR, Montgomery, Foreman, Akers. So this is sort of a pseudo Thursday night football question, Hobby. I see what you did here. There's no Thursday night football players in here, but yeah, you're starting Akers, and I think I would go Montgomery over Foreman here as well. I would Evan Ingram versus Dalton Schultz. That's a good one, man. This is a good question because Evan Ingram's been balling. He's had 2 of his best career games in just the last 3 weeks. I would play Evan Ingram over Dalton Schultz. You got to play the hot hand, I think, with Evan Ingram and how much he's cooking right now. That's my time, guys. Guys, time is the most valuable thing we have. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I will be back live Sunday morning. Make sure you hit the subscribe button on YouTube so you don't miss that. Hit the follow button on TikTok so you don't miss that as well. I'll also be posting daily content as always. Have a good one, guys. Enjoy the Thursday night game, and thank you so much for tuning in.